Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this afternoon's live trading session, and also a review of the week and where the trading has been, and things that have gone right, things that have gone wrong, etc. So if you do have any questions, and I would always encourage you to ask questions, then please send those through, and I should get those on my screen and be able to respond to them as you ask them. So gold has obviously been my nemesis this week. Other than that, I think pretty much every trade was successful. I'm still in a gold trade today, and it is fluctuating as we've seen over the last little while. I think we traded down to about 1848 this morning. It's back up at 1856, and obviously we had the CPI data out earlier in the week that really accelerated the move higher in gold, that really caught me unawares, and I'll talk about those moves in a little bit more detail as we go through this brief session that we're having now. Obviously the dollar is a lot stronger against the euro, against the pound, trading at 114.38 against the euro, 133.84 against sterling, and all of this coming about largely from the data that we've seen this week. Now the DAX continues to be very well bid. I'm short the DAX at this level. And obviously before we started this session, probably about half an hour or so ago, I put a limit in at 36, a limit sell in at 36.065 in the Dow, which was triggered far sooner than I expected. I think, and we've mentioned this many times in the past, certain numbers become key numbers, and every time we move 1,000 points, the new strike or the new level is, becomes a natural support, a natural resistance level, depending on which way we're moving to those levels. So yesterday the trading was very quiet, unusually quiet, as we moved through 36,000 and hovered around 35,950, 960. And I'm expecting there to be a fair amount of trading around the 36,000 level today. So I think there is an opportunity on rallies to 36,050 to get short, and equally so when we move down below the 36, that key 36,000 mark. I think there are opportunities to get long the market. I would be my preference is to be more careful on the long side of the market. We are obviously still fairly close to record highs, and my preference will always to be short at these levels. So we have an opportunity, as already happened, to get short up at 36,065. So I'm just going to put we're approaching the bell. We've got about 3.5-4 minutes to go to the bell. So I'm just going to change this to a 1 minute chart so we can see the movement in a bit more detail as we start to move. And then I'm just going to put a limit in to try and take some profit. I'm not going to be too aggressive. Probably go somewhere around 230. Just looking to take some profit at that level. 36,030. If we see a movement back towards that level, and that would result in about 35 pips of profit if that does materialise. So with 3 or just under 3 minutes to go to the opening bell, we're fairly steady in the markets at this time. The DAX has probably ticked off a little bit. The levels that we're trading in the DAX are obviously record highs, 16,105. I think we've been up to about 125 as a high, and that's largely because of the movement that we've seen, or not largely, but largely might be an overstatement, but one of the reasons why we're considerably higher and so robust in the trading from the DAX's perspective is of course the weak euro, which is making it more attractive in relation to dollar investments coming into that particular market. So and that has really kept the DAX well supported during the week. I've managed to sell a couple of times above here, above 16,100, and buy back on dips. I think I'll wait for the Dow to open and see how we move there before deciding to take any further positions on the DAX. There is a limit in there to take profit should we move a little bit lower, and as you would expect from this week, gold is a little bit against me. I've managed to clip in and out of gold overnight, and again once or twice this morning, but the pickings or the profits have been reasonably small, and certainly when you're comparing them with the losses that I had in the work earlier in the week, they're pretty much non-existent, to be fair. So under 30 seconds or so to go now to the open. So just keep an eye on that. On the Dow trade, we're getting closer to the level that I traded at. We're very close now to opening, so we're back down at 36,050. So the key thing, and we're open now, so the key thing I'd just like you to keep an eye on and be aware of the trading that happens around this 36,000 level. So moving down towards my TP, it may be a little bit too aggressive. I think we traded down to 39, then the TP is in at about 30. So we're still 36,056, 57. Quite a quiet open for the Dow. The DAX has traded off a little bit, back down at 16,100. So we're still seeing buyers coming through in the US market so far. Being back down there to about 36,055, but no huge movement in any direction, and that's a mirror copy of what we saw yesterday, even when we fell down towards that 35,950 level. The trading was really quiet, so we touched 30 there. I don't think my TP triggered there. It did just now. So there, the trade that we did at 36,065, we've just taken out around the 36,030 level. So about 35 pips of profit there. The DAX is starting to trade off a little bit, down to 16,094. The Dow is pushing back towards 36,000. Still there, holding on to 36,020. And I think we're going to see this a certain amount of this battle going on throughout the afternoon session, and as you often see, you will see moves below the 36,000 level and back above that level as well. So hopefully there will be a couple of opportunities to add to those trades. So I'm about 17 pips in profit on the DAX trade, so I may look to close that shortly as well. Gold has popped back up to 1858, which has been, has roughly been the high throughout most of this morning session. So we'll just so the DAX is at 16,092. I'm just going to bring my TP on the DAX up a little bit. I'm just trying to look where I had it, to be fair. So it was at 16,082. So I'll just leave it there for the time being, and we'll 16,072. Sorry, I'll leave it there for the time being and see how that continues to move. So if we move on to so again, if there are questions, please ask away, and I will get back to them at some stage today. if not during this particular session. We just look at the trades for the week. I think the key thing to note is the losing trades. So gold, all of them, bar a 1 pip loss on the DAX. Have a couple of DAX trades open which may or may not move back into profit. One of them is in profit at the moment. I'm just updating the Dow trade as we go through here. So the buyback was at 36,030, just under that level, but we'll put it in there at 36,030. So 35 pip profit on that trade. Hopefully you're all on it. And I do continue to think that we'll see a lot of movement around this level over the next period. So 4 trades closed there today. Decent profit, 124 pips. The real standout is the losses on gold. And all of these losses occurred over Wednesday and Thursday, albeit one of the trades was from Monday. And stopping out at levels that are pretty much the high. If you look at, not so much with the trade from Monday, but if you look at the trades from Wednesday, closed out at 1865, which was the high of the day then. The trade at 1845 closed out at 1866, which I think was the high of the day yesterday. So you then face a dilemma of the amount of drawdown that you're having on your account. And you know, the unfortunate thing is with this form of trading, there's a lot of people take on too many positions, too large a position, and unfortunately draw down all of their account balance, which you need to get into a situation where the maximum drawdown on your account is probably in the 12 to 15% range. If you get it wrong, and we all get it wrong, and certainly with gold this week I got it wrong as well, if your drawdown is limited to 12 or 15%, you're still in the game, you're still in the market, and you have every opportunity to recover those losses. If you run your drawdown beyond those levels, you're not going to be in the game very long, unfortunately. So always look at the maximum amount of drawdown that you have on your account and keep it somewhere within that range. And equally so, that stems from maximising or restricting the amount of risk that you have on individual positions as well. Aside from that, if we look at the summary, and this is all of this week's trades, a couple of days where there were losses. So Wednesday 28 pips, Monday 27 on a net basis, 32 trades on the Dow, 17 trades on the DAX. I think the Dow trades have all been positive. One of the DAX trades could return a loss later today if I don't see a significant movement to the downside. But 3 huge losses on gold, which have wiped out anything else that we've seen on gold, and a net loss of 335 pips on the week. The other thing that I would probably note when I'm looking at my trade sheets for this week, and I've tried to counteract that a little bit today, far too many trades Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. If the optimum level is somewhere around 8, so let's say 10 as a maximum, and I'll just put a bit of a colour in there, and you can see how many I've exceeded that by on each of the first 4 days of this week. So very much taking it, trying to look at keeping it within those levels, certainly today. And there will be optimum levels that you all have in terms of the trading that you're doing, and that's why it's important that you keep the data. So Ben is asking, how much of a swing around 36,000 do I expect? I think the answer, Ben, and we'll just go back, I'll just open the markets up again now. I think until we see some genuine momentum coming in from either the buy side or the sell side, I think it's around here. I'd be looking for 50 pips either side of the market. I'd maybe even trim that down to 20, 25. I think selling here, 36,048, is not a bad area. So I think if you see 50 points above, 50 points below. Slightly more cautious on the buy side. You know, as you'll all know at this stage, I'm a far more nervous long than I am a short. And obviously that comes out of the fact that we are still close to record highs. So maybe 50 pips, maybe keep your stops a little bit tighter than you normally would. I mean, it's been a tough week for me. You know, the losses on gold I've made all of them back and sit in profit as we talk this afternoon. And I'm probably not going to risk too much of that. So what I'm going to do here, just with the DAX as we're talking, is take profit a little bit early on that trade. I don't think there's any. I think we are going to continue to see this fluctuation around 36,000. And I think the DAX is probably not going to do a great deal within that. Hopefully we see a bit of a movement to the downside. So I've just taken profit on that DAX trade from earlier. Gold has ticked down a little bit, back down to 1855. So I have a gold position and a DAX position that I'll continue to run from this point, and will update you. If you do have any other questions for me, if there's anything specific that you want an explanation on, or you want a bit more guidance on, then always just email me. I'm always available to answer your questions. And hopefully we see a good end to the trading day. As I said, I don't think I'll be doing a great deal more myself, and unless we see, you know, I may put one more swing trade on around the 36,000 level. It will break at some time, and whether my school of thought is that we break lower, but I think for us to break either way, we need significantly more momentum than is currently in the market. So I'll leave you there, and I will update you on Telegram from this point. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon.